Uganda, famously referred to as the Pearl of Africa, is a landlocked country in East Africa that is known for its stunning natural beauty, diverse wildlife, and vibrant cultural heritage. Located at the heart of the African continent, Uganda is bordered by Kenya, Tanzania, Rwanda, the Democratic Republic of Congo, and South Sudan. Its capital city, Kampala, is a bustling metropolis that serves as the hub of the country's political, economic, and cultural life. With a surface area of 241,037 square kilometers and a population of over 45 million people, Uganda is one of the most visited countries in Africa. The people of Uganda possess a beautiful, generous, and resilient soul, going through years of civil wars and political power struggle, but still welcoming all kinds of people to their lands. Whether you're interested in history, culture, wildlife, or simply soaking up the beauty of the African landscape, Uganda is a destination that is sure to captivate and inspire. So come along with me as I take you to discover and explore some fascinating but shocking facts about the beautiful country of Uganda. 1. The equator crosses through Uganda. The equator is an imaginary line that circles the Earth, dividing it into the Northern Hemisphere and the Southern Hemisphere. Uganda is one of several countries that the equator passes through, along with countries such as Brazil, Kenya, and Indonesia. The equator is an important geographical feature, influencing the climate, weather patterns, and ecosystems of the regions it passes through. The equator crosses through Uganda, passing through a point located just south of the town of Masaka. The equator is a popular tourist attraction, with visitors often stopping to take photos and participate in demonstrations showcasing the effects of being at the equator, such as the Coriolis effect. 2. Uganda has a rich history that dates back thousands of years. The region that is now Uganda was inhabited by various Bantu-speaking tribes and kingdoms, including the Buganda, Bunyoro, and Toro kingdoms. These kingdoms were known for their agriculture, trade, and cultural traditions. In the late 19th century, Uganda became a British protectorate, and the colonial period was marked by significant economic and social changes. The British introduced cash crops such as coffee and cotton, which became major exports, and built infrastructure such as railways and roads. Uganda gained independence from Britain in 1962, and the country's early years were marked by political turmoil and instability. The country experienced a period of military dictatorship under Idi Amin in the 1970s, which was characterized by human rights abuses and economic mismanagement. Since the 1980s, Uganda has made significant progress in building a stable democracy and developing its economy. The country has experienced sustained economic growth and has made progress in areas such as education, healthcare, and infrastructure. However, poverty and inequality remain significant challenges, and the country continues to face political and social challenges related to issues such as corruption and human rights. 3. Uganda is the most entrepreneurial country in Africa. Uganda is known for having a strong entrepreneurial culture, with many individuals starting and running their own businesses. According to the Global Entrepreneurship Index, which measures the entrepreneurial ecosystem of countries around the world, Uganda ranks as the most entrepreneurial country in East Africa and one of the most entrepreneurial countries on the continent. The country's entrepreneurial spirit can be attributed to a number of factors, including a relatively low cost of living, a growing middle class, and an increasing number of opportunities in sectors such as agriculture, tourism, and technology. Despite challenges such as limited access to finance and infrastructure, many Ugandans have shown remarkable resilience and innovation in starting and growing successful businesses. 4. Uganda has the highest density of primates and gorillas in the world. Uganda harbors about 20 species of primate among its rainforest jungles. The country is home to the highest density of primates and gorillas in the world, making it a popular destination for wildlife enthusiasts and conservationists. The country's lush forests and national parks are home to a wide variety of primates, including chimpanzees, baboons, colobus monkeys, and the endangered mountain gorillas. The Bwindi Impenetrable National Park, located in southwestern Uganda, is home to almost half of the world's remaining mountain gorillas, making it one of the most important conservation areas in the world. Uganda's commitment to protecting its wildlife has helped to boost its tourism industry and has also contributed to global efforts to conserve and protect endangered species. 5. Uganda has a very high English language proficiency. While English is one of the official languages of Uganda and is widely spoken throughout the country, other languages are spoken. Uganda is known for having a relatively high level of English proficiency compared to other African countries. English is taught as a second language in schools throughout Uganda, and many Ugandans are able to speak and write English fluently. In addition, Uganda has a long history of British colonial influence, which has contributed to the widespread use and familiarity with the English language. However, it is important to note that many Ugandans also speak other local languages, including Luganda, Swahili, and various other tribal languages. 6. Uganda had one of the most notorious ruthless president of all time. Idi Amin Dada was a military dictator and president of Uganda from 1971 to 1979. Amin was born in 1925 in Koboko, in what is now northern Uganda, and joined the British colonial army in 1946. He rose through the ranks to become one of the first Ugandan commissioned officers, and after Uganda gained independence in 1962, he became a major general in the Ugandan army. In 1971, Amin staged a military coup and overthrew the elected government of Milton Obote. His regime was notorious for its brutality and corruption, and his legacy is still felt in Uganda today. Amin was known for his erratic behavior and grandiose statements. He claimed to be the King of Scotland and awarded himself various military titles and honors. His regime was marked by violence, including torture, extrajudicial killings, and disappearances. In 1979, Amin was overthrown by a coalition of Ugandan rebels and Tanzanian forces. He fled the country and lived in exile in Saudi Arabia until his death in 2003. 7. Uganda is famous for Rolex. Well, not this Rolex, this Rolex. The Rolex Festival is a popular street food festival that takes place annually in Uganda. The festival is centered around a popular Ugandan street food called the Rolex, which is a chapati, a type of flatbread, filled with eggs, vegetables, and sometimes meat. The Rolex Festival began in 2016 in Kampala, the capital city of Uganda, and has since expanded to other cities and towns throughout the country, including Jinja, Mali, and Nabarara. The festival attracts thousands of people each year, including food vendors, chefs, and food enthusiasts. In addition to the Rolex, the festival features a variety of other Ugandan and international street foods, as well as live music, dance performances, and other cultural activities. The festival provides a platform for local food vendors and entrepreneurs to showcase their products and connect with customers, and it has become a popular event for tourists and locals alike. The Rolex Festival has also helped to promote Ugandan cuisine and culture on the international stage, with the festival receiving coverage in international media outlets such as CNN and the BBC. The festival is a celebration of Ugandan food, culture, and entrepreneurship, and has become a beloved event in the country's culinary calendar. 8. Though a very poor country, Uganda has one of the fastest-growing economies in Africa, with a gross domestic product (GDP) growth rate of around 6% per year. The country's economy is largely driven by agriculture, which employs around 70% of the population and accounts for around 25% of the country's GDP. Uganda is a leading producer of coffee, tea, and other crops, and has recently made efforts to diversify its agricultural sector by promoting non-traditional exports such as flowers, fish, and fruits. In addition to agriculture, Uganda's economy is also supported by other sectors such as services, industry, and tourism. The country has a growing tourism industry, thanks in part to its abundant wildlife, including mountain gorillas, and its diverse cultural heritage. Despite these positive trends, Uganda faces a number of challenges to sustained economic growth, including limited infrastructure, a small domestic market, and a relatively low level of industrialization. Poverty and inequality also remain significant challenges, with a large portion of the population living below the poverty line. The government has made efforts to address these challenges through policies aimed at promoting private sector development, improving infrastructure, and reducing poverty and inequality. 9. Uganda is the most affordable safari destination. Although East Africa is known for its expensive destinations, Uganda offers the very bottom of the budget. Relatively, a luxury safari trip in Uganda is what a semi-luxury trip in Kenya would cost you. Hotels, safari camps, and lodges have recently sprawled around cities and national parks in Uganda, sending price competition wars across the tourism industry. To the traveler's advantage, they can't fail to find affordable places to stay from the myriad choices. Uganda offers the lowest accommodation prices, from tented budget camps, guest houses, and hotels to international luxury brands and private safari cottages. The national park charges the lowest entry fees in East and Central Africa, while gorilla tracking and chimpanzee tracking permits are the lowest, offering the most entertaining primate adventures in the world. 10. Over 50 tribes with different cultures live in Uganda. Yes, Uganda is a culturally diverse country, with over 50 different tribes and ethnic groups living within its borders. Each tribe has its own unique customs, traditions, and languages, and this diversity is reflected in the country's art, music, dance, and cuisine. Some of the largest ethnic groups in Uganda include the Baganda, who are concentrated in the central region and make up around 16% of the population, the Banyankole, who are concentrated in the southwestern region and make up around 9% of the population, and the Akoli and Langi, who are concentrated in the northern region and make up around 5% of the population each. Despite their differences, the various ethnic groups in Uganda have managed to coexist peacefully for the most part, and the country has a strong sense of national unity and pride. The government has also made efforts to promote cultural diversity and preserve the country's rich cultural heritage, including through the establishment of national cultural institutions and the celebration of national holidays and festivals. 11. The Nile River, the world's longest river, flows through Uganda, making it an important source of water for the country. The river begins in Uganda's Lake Victoria and flows for over 6,500 kilometers before emptying into the Mediterranean Sea. In Uganda, the Nile passes through a number of important landmarks, including the Bujagali Falls and the Murchison Falls, which are popular tourist destinations. The Nile River is an important source of water for agriculture, industry, and domestic use in Uganda. The river's fertile banks support a variety of crops, including coffee, tea, and sugar, and fishing is an important source of income for many communities along the river. The Nile also plays an important role in Uganda's energy sector, with several hydroelectric dams located along the river generating a significant portion of the country's electricity. In addition to its economic importance, the Nile River is also a significant cultural and spiritual symbol in Uganda, with many communities along the river considering it to be a sacred source of life. 12. Uganda is a birdwatcher's paradise, with over 1,000 bird species recorded within its borders. The country's diverse ecosystems, including forests, wetlands, savannas, and mountains, provide habitats for a wide variety of bird species, many of which are endemic to the region. Some of the most popular birdwatching destinations in Uganda include the Bwindi Impenetrable Forest, which is home to over 350 bird species, including the African green broadbill and the black bee-eater, and the Queen Elizabeth National Park, which is home to over 600 bird species, including the African fish eagle and the shoedill stork. Uganda's birdlife is also an important contributor to the country's tourism industry, with birdwatching tours and safaris becoming increasingly popular in recent years. The government has made efforts to promote ecotourism and protect the country's natural habitats, including through the establishment of national parks and wildlife reserves. 13. Education in Uganda is governed by the Ministry of Education and Sports and is free and compulsory for all children between the ages of 6 and 16. The education system is divided into 3 levels: primary, secondary, and tertiary. Primary education in Uganda consists of 7 years of schooling and focuses on building foundational knowledge and skills in subjects such as English, mathematics, science, and social studies. Secondary education consists of 6 years of schooling and is divided into 2 levels: lower secondary, 4 years, and upper secondary, 2 years. Students in upper secondary school can choose to specialize in either a humanities or a science track. Tertiary education in Uganda consists of universities, vocational schools, and other institutions of higher learning. The country has a number of universities and colleges, both public and private, offering a range of programs in fields such as medicine, engineering, business, and education.